Welcome back to the Hardware Hub. In this video I show an insane $2,000 game PC that can easily handle games at 4K ultra settings. It will also be excellent for those of us looking to do 4K 60fps video editing and live streaming at high resolutions. Anyways, without further ado, let's get right into it. So let's start off this PC build by talking about the CPU, which is the AMD Ryzen 7 3700X for $310. This is an 8-core 16-thread CPU that comes clocked at 3.6 GHz out of the box with a boost clock of 4.4 GHz. Now this is based on the newest Zen 2 architecture, which is pretty efficient, and this new architecture allows the CPU to have a TDP of only 65 watts. Now don't let the low TDP fool you. This is a powerhouse of a CPU that can handle pretty much any GPU when it comes to gaming, and it can handle all sorts of workstation tasks as well, from running virtual machines to video editing. Also, having those 16 threads will help you multitask, so running things like Spotify while gaming and doing things like live streaming won't impact performance as much compared to a CPU with less threads. Now Ryzen CPUs aren't crazy great overclockers, but I would expect you to get around 4 GHz on all cores, which is definitely a solid experience. Altogether, this is a great CPU for a variety of use cases. Now to cool the CPU on this PC, I decided to throw in these Cooler Master MA410P Tough for $25. This is a decent upgrade over the stock cooler and should provide better temperatures and reduce noise levels compared to the stock cooler. On top of that, you can probably get a little more overclocking headroom with a beefy cooler like this, which is always welcome. If you want to save some money, you can skip out on this, but I think at this budget, this CPU cooler is well worth it. Now to house the CPU, we have the MSI B50M Gaming Plus Max for $104. This is a nice looking motherboard that has 4 RAM slots, 6 SATA ports, and an M.2 slot. Having 4 RAM slots and 6 SATA ports will leave you a lot of room to upgrade your RAM and storage capacity in the future. Now this is also a Max series motherboard, which means that unlike other B450 motherboards, this motherboard has a BIOS that's ready for the 3000 series out of the box. Updating BIOS could break your motherboard, so not having to do that process is really a nice benefit. Now besides that, this has all the features of a B450 motherboard, which include overclocking, and it's built with pretty high quality components. For the price, you're getting a pretty well-rounded motherboard. Now for the memory, I decided to throw in the GeIL Evo 32GB set for $110. RAM speeds and bandwidth are getting more and more important these days, so it's nice to go with a kit like this, which comes clocked at 3200 MHz and is dual channel. Since this is only 2 sticks of RAM, you will have space to add in 2 more sticks of RAM in the future, so in the future if you decide you need 64GB of RAM, you can easily do that with this configuration. For gaming, 32GB will be more than enough, and it should allow you to do 4K video editing as well. Altogether, this really won't limit you in anything you throw at it. Now next up we have the storage. Now this is a bit subjective, so we'll list some alternative storage devices down below. But for this PC, I decided to throw in a 2TB Crucial MX500 for $220, and I think that this is going to provide the best bang for your buck. Now this is a pretty nice mid-range SATA SSD, which should give you some great read and write speeds and be much more reliable than a traditional hard drive. The 2TB capacity is going to be enough for most game libraries, especially if you are a new builder. If you ever do run out of storage, you can always throw in a cheap hard drive or add in another SSD in the future, since this PC has a ton of extra SATA ports. For this PC, I think that this is an excellent fit. Now your graphics card is probably one of the most important parts of your gaming PC because it's going to have the biggest impact on how fast your games play. In this PC, I decided to add in a MSI RTX 2080 Ti for $1,050. This is a top of the line card from Nvidia right now, and this MSI version is definitely pretty nice. It has a nice heatsink and a dual fan cooler, which should keep temperatures low, and it should also give you some decent overclocking headroom. This GPU also has 11GB of VRAM, which sounds a little bit odd, but nonetheless should be a nice amount for 4K gaming. Nvidia's target audience for this card is 4K gamers, but it also makes a great 1440p gaming card as well, especially if you have a high refresh rate monitor. There's not really any other option at this price point in the GPU market, so you just gotta go with Nvidia, but I think that this offers a decent value. Now to highlight the components, we have the NZXT H510 for $70. This is an absolutely great looking case with a tempered glass side panel and a PSU shroud. Cable management is definitely a pro in this case, as it has a larger amount of room behind the motherboard and a bunch of cable routing holes. This also comes in black, red, and white, and they're all the same price on Amazon, so just go with whichever one you prefer. There's not much more to say about this. It has all the features that you need in a beautiful package. And last but not least, for the power supply, we have the 850 watt Thermaltake Smart Pro RGB for $100. Now I know that Thermaltake isn't a popular PSU manufacturer, but this is rated pretty highly in reliability on Linus Tech Tips tier list and is about on par with Seasonic and EVGA PSUs. It also has an 80 plus bronze rating for efficiency, so this PSU is definitely made with some quality components. Now besides that, this power supply is a fully modular power supply that has 4 8 pins for your GPU, and it also has an RGB ring around the fan, which is definitely a nice touch. Altogether, the PSU will easily power this PC and will likely last you a very long time. Now after seeing all those parts, you're probably wondering, how will this PC perform? Well, in the latest games, it can play them at 4K ultra settings with around 40 to 50 FPS. In most games, you will have to drop the settings a little bit to hit that 60 FPS mark, but you'll definitely get a very good 4K gaming experience with this PC. And also, if you're gaming at 1440p, this PC can obviously max those games out and can probably get above 100 FPS in most games, so if you're doing that sort of thing, this PC is definitely a good option. Now before we end this video, I'd like to quickly mention I have links to everything in the description, so check those out if you're interested. Also, if you have any questions about this PC or PC building in general, please leave a comment down below and I'll help you down there. But yeah guys, that's all for today. If you liked the video, please be sure to hit the like button. If you didn't like it, please dislike the video and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.